Turn 36. We've completed. I wanted to say something really funny there. It can be really monotone. Day 14, Captain's Log. No, look, turn 36. Right. So, we've just completed our Slinger. We've moved him out of the city. Our scout found a barbarian camp near Seoul. We pivoted all of our units up to take it. So the two scouts and our warrior. We did manage to clear the encampment, and I think in part that is thanks to our policy for discipline. This scout now rests and heals. Meanwhile, as we come back down to scout out what's down here, I was quite interested here because we've seen tobacco down here, the luxury resource, right? So immediately I thought to myself, do I want to settle? I mean, I need to settle near luxuries, right? Best practice, settle near luxuries. Yeah. Tobacco here and tobacco here. So where am I going to send my settler? It's a really good question. Do we send it down or do we send it across? Anyway, we send another scout down. We found another barbarian encampment. I think this is easier ground to traverse, and accordingly we're sending our units to the east to see if we can effect some type of victory against the barbarian. Now, a scout, I reckon, can probably take 2 hits from a spearman with the aforementioned policy, with the policy of discipline, which should give us time to get our slinger there. I've moved our warrior back into our territory, hopefully to heal him quicker. He hasn't got many hit points, 37 out of 100, so that's looking at 5 turns. Now, one of the interesting things one of the things I was interested in anyway, is to what extent does purchasing a unit change on marathon speed, right? So, having a look, 960 gold for a settler, 600 for a builder. As soon as I got to 160, seeing those numbers, I thought, well, at 5 gold a turn, that's a lot. It's 200 turns, it's almost 200 turns, 100 and, I don't know, 190 for a settler. I purchased this tile. 2 food, 2 production, 2 food, 2 production. We're now at the stage where we will be running out of production stuff to do. We've only got 2 more tiles left, and until such time as we expand here, 1, 2, 3, it'll get the horses eventually. This is also a +1 production tile. This could be a +2. It's always going to be hard. I think what counts is, for now, we focus on growing our city to a population of 6. What does that do? Someone somewhere which is like, get to 6. Build any district. Grow your city to at least 6 population for early empire. That will cut 60% of 54. That will cut a lot off progressing towards early empire. Will hopefully buy us enough time to either build a district to proc the state workforce, and maybe even to get out a builder. So for craftsmanship, which we'll need before we build the district. Meanwhile, I mean, we've just really got to decide where we want to build. This tile isn't adjacent. I mean, if we have a look at the settler, it wants us to build here. I'm not sure why it doesn't want us to build on this tile. Building on the coast, building on the tile, right, with access to fresh water, you'll get +4 housing. So cities will naturally have 2 housing. You'll get +4 if you settle next to fresh water. +1 if you settle next to the sea, so 3 housing if I settle here. For some reason, when I look at the settler map, it thinks the stone is the best bet, which I'm not so sure about. Here could be a good tile, but also if we settle here, I mean, we can always build an aqueduct later on, but that will also proc the technology for sailing. Up here would be excellent. We would get both the fresh water and the sailing proc, but we would not get the luxury resource, which is something that we're aiming for, because we will need those amenities as our cities expand. Now, the way amenities work, my understanding of it is as follows, right? 0 amenities, yeah? Your city will need amenities at 3 population. Then it will need 1 more amenity every 2 population. It grows, that it grows. More amenities will give you positive effects. Less amenities will give you negative effects. So most likely that's your production and food, right? So I need to eventually get to the chocolate, and I need eventually to get to the pipe. Question is, again, which pipe? At the moment, I'm really considering coming down. I like these mountains along here. Mountains will give you... they're great for districts. They're great. But keep in mind, 1, 2... we'd be looking at building a great wall out along here. Another thing we could consider, this is just an idea, no fresh water, right? So it would be a pretty shit city for a long time. But look at these amenities. Gypsum, sugar, incense. Is there some way... let's have a look at the grid, right? Let's have a look at the grid. So the furthest away is the incense. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So a city right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd be close to Geneva. But, you know, so what? Would give us super amenities. Super amenities. Of course, the game says no, because there's no fresh water, but this is just the settler map. You know, the settler map itself doesn't... it prioritizes stuff. How do you actually need the settler to get out before you can see it, but when you look at the settler map, it gives you the different shades of green based on... gives you the different shades of green based on the proximity to fresh water. So just because these are grey doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad places to settle. Keeping in mind that, you know, later on in the game, you can get so much additional housing through, you know, building neighbourhoods, through your policies, etc., that not having access to fresh water is actually not a deal breaker. So up here, I mean, we might send our scout up through here and around here and just check out this area up here. This also looks like Petra territory, you know, all these hills with the Petra. Wait, where do we get the Petra? Petra. +2 food, +2 gold, +1 production on all desert tiles for this city, non-floodplains. Must be built on a desert, or floodplains without hills. That's fine. This can turn a shitty desert city into something amazing. Removed if game started after Renaissance era. Needs mathematics. But that would be worth it. Scientifically, we've shifted into astrology. Not necessarily because we want to go for Stonehenge or a holy site. Well, a holy site would be pretty pretty handy. But mostly to give us more time to proc the boost for archery. So, this was 8 turns, because we'd gotten so much of the boost, but 8 turns plus another 10 turns for mining, will give us 18 turns to kill a unit with a slinger, which we should be able to do, right? Be it either this scout or this spearman. Again, my question is, geez, I'd really like to get another slinger out. I'd really like to get a monument and a granary and all of that, but I think it's time. We've got protection. We've got enough to take out this barbarian. We've got enough to use a warrior or a slinger as a guide for our settler. Pro tip, always escort your settlers. But I think at the moment, the 3 amenities, by settling here, we're forward settling city-states, but who cares? Speaking of city-states, we continue to receive large bonuses. It's very rewarding, but we need to trigger Eureka for archery. Excellent. We also need to trigger or train a heavy chariot and trigger the benefit for masonry, right? So archery, killing a unit with a slinger is actually going to be a priority. Masonry, building a quarry. We can then build the Great Wall as well. It's going to be hard with the Great Wall, but we'll figure it out. We need to build a quarry. For that, we'll probably need to expand down here. But we shall see. So, as for production, what am I looking at? 1 ranged, 1 melee, 2 scouts. The units, I would still really like another slinger. But it's probably time to get our settler out. An early settler, I'm pretty sure turn 36 is going to be an early settler on, what are we on? Marathon speed. 200% slowdown, but there we go. Okay. Well, that's it for this episode, I think. We'll just quickly move some stuff around. We'll come here. Maybe we should come there. Next turn. Let's keep it moving, people. Let's keep it moving. So
that's the positive aspect of trade, I suppose. The world gets stirred up together.
Unlocked by the Civic. You can now build a trader. +2 gold from all trade routes. Great. Naval units don't really need. Still change policies. Do we want double experience? I'm pretty happy with Barbarians. +1 production. +1 faith and gold in the capital. Well, I would like to build a holy site, no doubt. But at the moment, I don't think it's really required. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series. We'll see whether or not this guy attacks. That could delay our... Ooh, if this guy comes up, we'll see. I need you to heal. Otherwise you're going to eat it. Oh, also, an unmet player has been defeated. That happened on turn 31. That's pretty worrying. Anyway, guys, we don't know who it was, so the game, I think, is just trying to put a little bit of fear into me, but I'm actually more worried about Barbarians than somebody I haven't met yet. So, thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will speak to you in the following episode, hopefully around somewhere between turn 47 to 50. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.